Hey, it's Direct Response Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Ketchum, founder of Campaign Refinery, joined today by David Cartolano from Wealthy Inbox. What's up, man?
Hey Travis, how you doing?
Doing good. So, we're going to be lightning round today because if you are here, you are here for one very specific question. Why are my emails coming through? And we wanted to answer this very straightforward technical question with the 10 most common reasons why your email is not actually coming through and what the hell could be going wrong with it, as well as one quick tip that will probably help you avoid 99% of this nonsense in the first place as a little extra cherry on top after we give you the top 10. So how's that sound, David?
Oh, I love it. I love it. So you mind if I kick it off?
Let's go, man. Let's run through it.
All right. So number 10 is full mailbox storage. So what that means is you send an email to somebody and they're not getting the email. Why? It's because they literally cannot accept one more email into their inbox. So that person either needs to, one, delete more emails, or number two, upgrade their storage. And this happens so much. You would be so surprised because people don't like to clean out their email inboxes, and I don't blame them.
Basically, what you're saying is their inbox is like me at the end of a Thanksgiving meal. There's not a room for one more drop of nothing to go anywhere.
That's exactly. I was going to say that in those words, but I decided to be less poetic about it.
Yeah. They ate too much pumpkin pie. Can't help myself. Costco, man. $5.99.
Beautiful.
Right. Cool. All right. So the next item, since this is lightning round, is simply the incorrect email address. I know it's one of those, it's so stupid, it should be obvious, but double check, is the email address that's typed in the actual one that it's intended to go to? Because if they don't match exactly, it's not going to go there. It's like dialing the wrong phone number and getting Fred instead of David and be like, where's David? Like, I don't know, this is Fred. What do you want from me? So if the email doesn't go through, make sure that you check that you actually have the right address typed out. If you're impatient like me and clumsy and just bashing away at the keyboard, it's easy to skip a number or a letter, have a typo, missing something, right? Like, it's a very common thing. We're all human. To err is human. But anyway, I think that's the next most common issue that people have. Very human error.
And I've done that, like, embarrassingly enough. As somebody who does this, I've tested emails. I'm like, it's not going through. It's not going through. And then I realized I wasn't checking the right inbox. So sometimes does come down to the incorrect email address. So another thing, the next thing that I see happen and you see happen and everybody in email sees happen, if an email's not going through, check the spam folder or check the promotions tab or updates tab or whatever other tab that isn't the thing that shows up when people log into their email account. Check those tabs and see if the email itself landed there. So especially Google and Yahoo and AOL last year, they made a huge spam update, which at the end of the day, they're always getting stricter on spam. Always. I've never seen them say, hey, you know what? Fuck it. Let them send what they want. Ever. So take a look at the spam folder. Make sure if your email is in there, well, then there's plenty of podcasts and plenty of resources that Campaign Refinery has came out with that you can take a look at to help you get out. So yeah, spam filters are huge. Promotions filters, just check the email and see if it's in another spot than the primary inbox.
And also understand that oftentimes if you're ending up in spam, I know you'll probably agree with me on this one, so I'll speak for the both of us. If you're ending up in spam, you're sort of reaping what you sow. It's not that like you got to flip a switch per se. Usually, it usually is a reputational reflection of why your email is going to quote the wrong spot and why they aren't coming through. So keep that in mind, that you might have a reputation problem to fix, not necessarily a technical problem, although it could be, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. Now, the next most common reason why an email doesn't go through is server downtime. And that could be at a various stages of the email process. A lot of people think that email is magic because it kind of is. In fact, it's sort of amazing that it works as well and as reliably as it does. But when you are sending the little ones and zeros that are your email and you want to get them to a particular inbox, it actually has to go through quite a few different computers to get there. And it has to be accepted and processed at each one of those various stages. And if any part of that pipeline even has a momentary hiccup, it could cause either a permanent failure or a temporary failure, right? So a permanent failure means something went so catastrophically wrong that the email is never going to get through. Whereas a temporary failure means something went wrong and it asked the computer before it, hey, I'm not ready for you right now. Can you please try again in a little bit? And it will do that multiple times over with increasing lengths of intervals. So if you haven't got it right away, and it's because of a very temporary server downtime, those are rare, but they do happen kind of often, if that makes sense. So like it actually being a true problem that stops the email from ever getting there is very rare, but for some piece of that pipeline to have a temporary disruption is actually quite common. So give it just a little bit of time. Louis C.K. had that joke about cell phones. Like, I hate Verizon. It's like, could you give it a second? It's going to space and back, right? So just give it a second, and it'll probably get there, 99.9% of the time. I'll let you take the next one.
Yeah. So the next thing that can go wrong are DNS configuration problems. So for some people who are more tech inclined, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For some people who don't, DNS records are kind of like when you open the little panel in your apartment or your house, and it's pretty much where you see all the switches that control the electricity for stuff, right? So if the switches are in the wrong spot and they're flicked in the wrong way, and you turn on your light in the attic, it's not going to go on. Why? Not because the attic is broken, not because the light bulb in the attic is broken, but the switch in your circuit breaker. That's the word I'm looking for. The switch in your circuit breaker is misconfigured. Okay? So a DNS configuration problem means that maybe and I could say, lightning round, David. So DKIM, SPF, DMARC records, those are kind of like the name tags that you wear on your domain when you're sending emails, so Google, Yahoo, AOL know who you are and know that you aren't faking who you are, right? That name tag could be flipped the wrong way, or it can be spelled wrong, or it might not be there, and that can cause a problem. You might also have a missing MX record, or an MX record that is, is spelled wrong or whatever. And that means like you have a mailbox and it's kind of messed up. Or if you have a postman that comes to your door and takes your mail, you drop the letters or you throw it behind him, right? So these are things that are a bit more technical, that if you do have the technical expertise, you can look at yourself. If you don't have the technical expertise, either get very good at asking ChatGPT and other LLMs to like copy and paste and help you see what's wrong with the record. But I don't suggest doing that, because if you don't know why it's wrong, if you don't know why it's broken, it's going to be really hard to fix it. So, misconfigured DNS configuration problems. So,
I would just add one little bit to that, which is everything you've said is absolutely correct. But if you are not using your own domain, if you're using a free Gmail account, a free Yahoo account, whatever, and you are directly in the web browser, none of these things apply. Right? If you're sending from the web view. Now, if you have it in, let's say, Apple Mail or a different mail client like Outlook or whatever, then it's like, okay, maybe some more of this comes into play on the configuration in general. But to eliminate that, just go right to the web browser, go to mail.google.com, hit compose, send an email, and if it's not sending, then something else is going on and it has nothing to do with domain configuration. Everything you mentioned is because we work in the world of customized branded domains, and so that's what we eat, live, and breathe. So if you're in the free world...
It looks like a hole. I use a hammer.
Yeah, cool. All right, so the next component is network connectivity issues. Now, this is kind of similar to the, server issues, but has more to do with basically flaky internet, right? So if you are trying to send email, let's say from your phone, and you have 1 bar of connection, that email might not go through because it's intermittent or too weak to have enough of a window to send the entirety of the message. Maybe only part of the message starts to send and then it fails, right? But that's not because the phone is broken. That's not because the server is broken. It's because the link in between the two devices is having some issues, right? So the more obvious example that I gave is the cellular one, but that could still be true of your home computer or your laptop on Wi-Fi, right? There's basically anywhere that it's relying on a connection to the outside world to send. If that connection itself has any turbulence, it could lead to congestion, delays, or outright failures.
So give it a moment. Check the Wi-Fi. If I could add on, sometimes with network connectivity issues, sometimes it's you got to give it a minute because you're sending out 1 million emails. And with all of our technology today, yes, we can put people on the moon, but it still takes a very long time at the time of this recording to send 1 million emails. It's not going to take a blink of an eye. So give it some time. And if a server is down somewhere, then it's going to take a little more time, and that's okay. Don't freak out. Don't try and duplicate the email and send it out again.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
don't
Don't do
resend.
that.
Please, for the love of God, don't resend.
Just just take a walk for 5 minutes and then come back. All right. And I promise that 5 minute walk will save you from so many messed up emails.
Agreed.
But next thing, the reason why an email might not be making it is your account might have been blocked, right? Maybe for whatever reason you had too many login attempts, or you're logging in from a weird IP address. If you use a VPN like myself, you probably get flagged a lot, and that's okay. It's just part of the game. So yeah, fix that account security block, because that might be another reason that's playing into why your emails aren't going through.
You may also have a team member or a VA, your virtual assistant, in a
Yeah.
different country logging in as you. These things can trip the alarm bells for mailbox providers, and when they see something that kind of smells a little suspect, they lock things down and they stop anything going in or out for their own protection. So makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but another item that can be here is the email client configuration. That's why I said if you're having issue, try going right to the browser. If your mail service has a web browser version where you can just go to a URL and use their interface as a normal website. A lot of us, myself included, prefer and frequently use a dedicated mail client, which is a piece of software on each device that is designed to talk to all these email services, and they usually have added features and maybe calendaring and scheduling and all this extra stuff that make them interesting and good to use. But software is software, and software can have bugs, and so there can be an issue with them authenticating and talking to your mail server. You could have manually set something up and done it incorrectly. I know that in the dark old days using Apple Mail, sometimes it'd be trying to send from one email address using the mail server of a completely different system, and you get this mismatch of stuff, and it'd be like, why isn't it sending? It's because, well, you're trying to send as Gmail, but you're trying to use Yahoo's configuration, so it's not going to work, right? And so this is a mail client thing, and to rule that out, if you can successfully have your emails come through when you are using the web version, then you can probably say, okay, well, it's something either with my particular device or the email client specifically that I'm trying to use on this particular device. So pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Another reason your emails have not been making it through is you've been blacklisted, which that is something that I find scares a lot of people. They're like, blacklist, oh my gosh, what does that mean? How do I stop? So blacklists, most of them are complete BS. They do not, they're just a bunch of hacks who are trying to scare you into paying them to take them off of their fake blacklist. But
if you pay with Bitcoin, they're even happier.
Oh yeah, Bitcoin, Monero, they will take you off their stupid website in minutes. For a week, and then they'll put you back, and then you freak out. So it's so annoying. But the real blacklists are there to catch people who are spamming. They're there if you are just shooting out emails willy-nilly, you're sending it to anybody and everybody. You're not unsubscribing people when you say you do. You're not cleaning your email list and making sure there are no invalid emails, bots, spam traps, all that yucky digital shit. And if you hit too many digital mouse traps, you can get blacklisted. And all they're doing is these people are trying to stop spammers. So they look for spammer-like behavior. And if you get tagged as one of them, then you have some changes to make. So that means you pretty much, I don't want to get into the process here. And I think Campaign Refinery has articles on this kind of stuff. So take a look at their database as well. And first step, if you realize you've been blacklisted, is number one, check to see if it's an actual blacklist you have to worry about. And then step number two, you go to their website and you follow their instructions. But again, just make sure it's legit. I've never, ever had to de-blacklist somebody. And I've worked with a lot of people over the years. So A lot of times this is a false alarm, so just be careful on if you get a blacklist notification. Most of the time it's nonsense.
If you're not spamming people.
If you're not spamming people. If you are, then yeah, get on a blacklist, you spammer. Get out of here.
Cool. All right. So the last and final most common reason, and there's obviously a million things we could probably get into, but the last most common reason that we're going to be covering today is simply email account deactivation, right? So when an email isn't used for a while, it can be deactivated by the mailbox provider, right? Sometimes it can be manually like, hey, I'm no longer going to use this. I'm going to deactivate my Gmail account. That's something that I've triggered. But there's also just, I haven't logged in recently enough. And maybe the free mailbox provider wants to not have a bunch of overhead for something that isn't actually being used or valued. And so if you leave it for long enough, that email address will actually deactivate. So it will put it on a freeze. And they do a little sneaky thing though with it that you need to be aware of if you're a sender, which is they will occasionally reactivate that email address sporadically. And any email that gets sent to that previously deactivated email address is now flagged as a spam trap. And this is how, even if someone isn't like, out to take you down, you can end up with spam traps on your email list that started as legitimate people that had legitimate inboxes that legitimately opened and clicked your emails, but then they gave up on that email address, which happens. I mean, we all move houses, life changes, we change jobs, whatever, right? Email addresses get deactivated. And then if you don't do anything different, and you continue to email and get bounces and whatnot, that's a negative black mark. But then when that does that reactivation window and your email gets into that inbox, that's like a huge black eye on your reputation, right? This is how you get legitimate spam traps sneaking their way onto your list. Now, I'm glad that we finished here on this like 10th item, because this and several other items that we've mentioned today are all things that are thankfully actually quite preventable. Now, there are ways of querying this programmatically in advance to see, is an email real? Is it typed correctly, like with common typos? Can it receive mail? Because is it full or not? Is it active? Are they known to complain, right? All those kinds of things. And this is what we call cleaning in the most like traditional sense of actually scrubbing in advance before you ever even attempt to send email. And this is one of the unique features that Campaign Refinery has built in. So every single Campaign Refinery user not only gets their email list cleaned the day that subscriber gets added to your list, but they get re-cleaned on a regular basis so that you can de-risk your list from a lot of these common issues before they happen in the future, which absolutely happens. There's decay, email lists go wrong, people become spam traps, become complainers, emails become changed for whatever reason. So these are all things that we have baked into our accounts. And then we actually, as of this recording, by the time you're watching this, we have our cleaner live. So even if you aren't using Campaign Refinery to send your emails, if you're using, ActiveCampaign or one of these other competitors, you'll be able to actually hook in our cleaner to do this for you on a regular basis with exceptional results and lowest available rates. So check that out down below, as well as the list of all these items that we covered today. And hopefully you can make sure your email is fixed and is sailing through right to the inbox like it deserves. David, do you have anything else to part them with today?
I think some people might have glossed over the whole list cleaning thing and using Campaign Refinery and having a clean tool. And I just want to leave them with this, is I have seen healthy lists with open rates of, like not amazing open rates. So like 20, 30%. I've seen them go to 2 or 3% overnight because of not cleaning their list, because of not getting rid of those spam traps. It happens fast, and they're just the ISPs, Google, Yahoo, AOL, the rest of them, they're just getting more strict with this stuff. They're more likely to put you in spam than not, and when it happens very quickly. So having your list cleaned and not even thinking about it is incredible. It is so incredible. I'm not saying you're not going to go to spam, but I am going to say that one day you log into your email account during a sale and a big week for your company, and now no one's opening your emails at all. This might have been the issue that could have been super easily preventable. So I do want to leave that in there. I don't want that to happen to you if you're not a spammer. So please check out this cleaning. Please check out Travis's resources, or you're going to end up paying somebody a lot of money to fix it.
Yeah, and if you are in the newsletter game specifically, David, I know you have an awesome resource for them there as well. So you want to let them know about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to wealthyinbox.news and you are going to see all of that, all of what I've been doing, all my lessons on what to do, and hopefully it'll help you out on your email-esque journey.
Cool. All right. So all those links are down in the video description, and I hope that you can get your email problem solved. And if not, feel free to reach out to one of us across our various channels we've linked down below, and we'd be happy to point you in the right direction. Until next time, talk to you soon.